Hey everyone, my name is Marzam and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about overthinking and how it can actually stop you moving forward in life. Now, unless if you're very self-aware or someone else can point it out to you, overthinking can happen without you even realizing it and cause you a lot of problems, which I'm about to mention. So someone who is an overthinker might be someone who doesn't really have a lot of self-belief. So when they come across a situation, in their own minds they might exaggerate a situation and start questioning a lot of things like what if this and what if that, and essentially they create scenarios in their own head which either won't happen or are likely not to happen, and when really the situation itself is actually quite simple. So another thing about overthinkers is they tend to have choice paralysis. So when it comes to something as simple as like getting takeout, they can't choose between what to have to eat, and then it could be like minutes or even hours go by, and eventually they get to the point where they just don't choose anything, and that could be a real mood killer, because you know they kind of like miss out on maybe what they might think is like some sort of enjoyment or something like that. And that kind of mood can kind of like kill the day or kill a moment for them. So yeah, that's another thing. So another common issue with overthinking is that it can easily slide you into procrastination mode. The reason is because when you think about these situations a lot more than you need to, and then when you already have things that you have planned or things that you really want to do, everything might become quite overwhelming simply because you've got a whole bunch of other stuff that's on your mind, and stuff you don't necessarily need to think about, and that can be quite damaging because that could stop you from achieving goals. So for example, if you've got like a side project you wanted to do, everything might just seem too much on your plate, and you know, if you've got like a hobby or even just want to meet out with friends, everything might just seem too much because you don't feel like you could handle it. So eventually you might not really end up doing anything just because there's just too much on your mind, and that could really be like another mood killer because it kind of ties you out mentally, but also ties you out mentally and kind of like exhausts your mind, but also it kind of like it's kind of like a rope that's pulling you back when you want to try and move forward, and it can really cause you a lot of stress. And you know, this can go on for, it could be like an hour, it could be a day, or even go across several days. And if you have this common overthinking issue, it can really hinder parts of your life, and that could really affect other sort of characteristics within your life, such as your confidence, just general mental well-being. So to help you out, I'm going to give you 3 ways. These aren't just the only ways, but these are 3 ways which I feel that you could even do now, which can help you to maybe not eliminate overthinking, but can certainly help you to reduce overthinking if you do these things fairly consistently. Number 1 is decision making. So just apply a 5-second rule when you have a decision that's not really impactful on your life and really and truthfully wouldn't really matter. So for example, using that scenario of getting takeout, once you just say you looked at the menu, pick something within 5 seconds and just go with that decision, because it will allow you to mentally move on, and by the end of it you're still getting food and you're not putting that stress and burden on your own head. And to go along with decision making is, if you think it, then just do it. Now this applies depending what else you got on during your day. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say do it while you're working, but if you're, say for instance, relaxing, say if someone sent you a personal document that you need to quickly complete, which would only take like 15 minutes for an application for whatever, just do it and get it out of the way, because once you get it off your mind, you don't have to think about it anymore. So that's another thing which will help stop you to overthinking it, because if you leave things sometimes to the last minute, particularly when it's so quick and easy to do, that little thing for an overthinker could be stuck on their mind throughout the whole day, and it might not allow them to really relax properly, or they might kind of snowball effect into an overwhelmingness as other things might come up. So number 2 is journaling and talking. I put these two together because I feel like the outcome is quite similar, but what essentially journaling or talking can help you with is that it can declutter your mind and provide you clarity. And when I've done so myself, through that process, with that clarity, I've found that it can help you to even resolve or even find the answers to the situations as you kind of like write it or say it. I'd say choosing between the two, you can do a mixture, you can do either or, it's just a preference. You might prefer to journal it down, particularly on real personal situations, or you might want to say it out loud just because that might work for you, or you might want to just talk it with someone else. Either you want them to listen, or you might even want them to give you a bit of advice. But it's definitely helpful that I found doing those things, and once I done so, I'm like, God, that was quite easy. And number 3 is scheduling your time and keeping busy. Considering that COVID has pretty much changed and impacted many of our lives, even to the point right now where we can't really do the activities which we used to do, even for some of us, like say even commuting, which used to fill up more of our time. When it comes to like after work and on weekends, a lot of our time might be unstructured, and when you have a lot more unstructured time, that gives more allowance for your mind to wander more because it's not focused on anything specific. So my personal recommendation would be, as much as you can, it's not always possible, but as much as you can, try find a new hobby, or try learn something new, do something else to keep you occupied. It might not have to be something dramatic, but the more time you put towards those things, it can actually be really beneficial, because it might help you to achieve those goals, or like a side project you want to do, or discover something new that you didn't really or wouldn't even consider before, or even just enjoy life itself. But the more time you spend on those things and the less time you give for your mind to wander, that will basically reduce the time to allow your mind to overthink. So these were just a few ways to reduce overthinking. This certainly have helped me. If you found this video useful, please write it in the comments below. If you try all or even one of these tips and you find it useful, come back to the channel and write in the comments below. Other than that, like the video, it will really help this channel out, and subscribe to the video for future content. Now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.